It had survived cancellation, scheduling conflicts, and stories so complex that even the programme's most hardcore fans had threatened to boycott it. Yet, against the odds, Doctor Who was back for another bold reinvention, this time with a Scottish actor best known for eccentric comedy as part of an experimental theatre troupe in the title role. But with a 42-episode run spread across 3 seasons between 1987 and 1989, where's the best place to start with the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy? Are you a Doctor Who fan curious about the classic series but don't know where to start, or feel overwhelmed by the whopping 695 episodes? Well, have no fear, as in this series I'll be taking you through a beginner's guide for all 8 classic Doctors, including 3 of my own personal story recommendations, which in my opinion give the best representation of each Doctor and their respective eras. I'm Ruby, aka Hooby Jones, this is Petrol the Dalek, and you're watching the 7th Doctor Explained, a Sylvester McCoy era beginner's guide. Following the transmission of Colin Baker's divisive second series, The Trial of a Time Lord, the BBC thankfully granted Doctor Who another season, but on one condition: that there was to be a new Doctor, leaving John Nathan Turner once again in the need of a new leading man. He eventually settled on Percy James Patrick Kent Smith, best known by his stage name Sylvester McCoy, after seeing him in a play before inviting him to audition for the title role. Like his predecessor, through no fault of his own, Sylvester McCoy's first season as the Doctor was plagued with issues. But after these initial growing pains of his first season, Sylvester McCoy and new companion Ace gave us 2 of the most sublime seasons in Doctor Who's history. I feel like this pairing of the Doctor and Ace was perhaps the first time in Doctor Who's history where the show really nailed the dynamic between the Doctor and the companion, who actually feels like a real person and has a well thought out backstory. And when you watch it now, it's very close in tone to what Russell T Davies brought to the show in the 2005 reboot. I hope you like this top as well. This was the most Ace inspired top in my wardrobe that I had to wear for this video. Script editor Andrew Cartmel was also keen to re-inject some more mystery into the character of the Doctor, which is one of the key plot points in my first story recommendation for this video in Remembrance of the Daleks. Remembrance of the Daleks sort of acts as the show's unofficial 25th anniversary story and takes place around the same location and time as Doctor Who's first ever serial, 1963's An Unearthly Child, and sees the Doctor and Ace caught up in a Dalek civil war, with 2 factions of Daleks fighting over the ancient Time Lord device, the Hand of Omega. Now for me, this story is nostalgia done just right, as there are these fun little references to Doctor Who scattered throughout, but nothing so in your face that it distracts from the overall and main beats of the story. This is the place to start to get to know Sylvester McCoy's Doctor, as he has so many great little moments and iconic lines in the adventure, like when he ponders the consequence of the simple action of putting sugar in his tea. It's also really interesting to see 2 rival Dalek factions at war, and it adds some much needed character development to our favourite salt and pepper pots, giving them more to do than to just look scary and shout exterminate every few minutes. We also have another favourite moment of mine where after a Dalek has been killed, the creature inside reaches out and attacks one of the characters, and it's such a chilling little scene that really hammers home the point that the Daleks are always a threat, no matter what form they exist in. Ace also gets her own little subplot through a whirlwind romance with Sergeant Mike Smith, who isn't all that he seems. Finally, we have some excellent grounding and interesting character development for one of the Doctor's companions, which is just absolutely awesome to see. And seeing as though it's the 80s, we also get another stellar performance from Terry Malloy as Davros. I love how deep and dark this serial gets, especially the ending, where Ace questions the Doctor and asks him whether what he did was actually a good thing or not. It's a really great and sort of dour moment to end the serial on. For me, this story is one of those huge quantum leaps forward in Doctor Who, and it really feels like a progression of what we've seen before in something totally different and new and fresh, which is continued in my second story recommendation for this video in The Happiness Patrol. A lot of criticism now gets levelled at 80s Doctor Who for its garish and over-the-top campness, but what is so clever about The Happiness Patrol is that it takes that element of the show and hypes it up to 11 whilst making the campness one of the story's key plot points. The Happiness Patrol sees the Doctor Doctor and Ace arrive on the planet Terra Alpha, where they find out that sadness has been outlawed by the villainous Helen A, and that anyone found to be spreading doom and gloom are arrested by the Happiness Patrol, before being executed by, and get ready to laugh, the Candyman. That's right, the main villain of the story is made of sweets, and is a strange mixture of hilariously cute and, to be honest, quite menacing when he gets moving and starts walking around. Shout out to my friend who shall remain nameless, who once confided in me that she wants a pair of Candyman slippers. Now, as I said earlier, the production team have really leaned into the campness, creating sets so pink, so bright and colourful that even RuPaul would tell them to sashay away, and I absolutely love it. The story also acts as a vicious critique of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's Britain at the time, with Sylvester McCoy later saying of this era and this serial, "We were young, politically motivated, and it seemed the right thing to do. Our feeling was that Margaret Thatcher was far more terrifying than any monster the Doctor had ever encountered." And you know what? Massive credit to Doctor Who, as not only did you give us a great breezy 3-part adventure, but also a really nice piece of political satire and commentary. You'll often see Doctor Who documentaries or videos about the show where they start to talk about the decline of the classic series, and it's nailed on that they will show a clip of the Candyman in the Happiness Patrol, followed by some so-called experts and television talking heads going, "Oh yeah, this was when Doctor Who got rubbish and no one was taking it seriously, what with all that unlimited rice pudding malarkey." But the counter to that is, well, it's supposed to be like that, and it's a story that showcases that we cannot have these extreme highs in life without these super lows to balance everything out. And in the Instagram age, it's an even more apt story, as it shows how futile and stupid it is to pretend to be happy, clappy and cheery all the time to please everybody else. Now at this point, the Sylvester McCoy era was in full swing, and season 26 proved to be even stronger than what had gone before, with a standout in my final pick for this video, the Curse of Fenric. If you're like me and a bit of a sucker for history, especially military history, the Curse of Fenric is the story for you, as it sees the Doctor and Ace arrive at a coastal military installation during the Second World War, and accidentally awaken the titular Curse of Fenric, with some fiendishly brilliant monsters wreaking havoc on the area. What I really love about this adventure is that the wartime setting really comes alive thanks to the emotional backstory of the supporting characters, as the brilliant Dr. Judson tries tirelessly to crack the codes used by the Germans to send messages, and the 2 young evacuees who hang out with Ace are just bored out of their minds, and it really helps put your feet firmly in the grounds of World War II. The Curse of Fenric was one of the few Doctor Who stories to be shot entirely on location, and this element really brings the adventure together, adding once again to its credibility and believability. Whilst the Happiness Patrol focused on the surreal, garish campness, the Curse of Fenric focused on dark and gritty storytelling, with some excellent exploration of time travel, as well as a great twist leaving Ace to wonder if the Doctor really is the nice guy that she thinks that he is. Despite these ultimate soaring highs, all was once again not well behind the scenes of our beloved Doctor Who. The returning villain from the last video, Michael Gray, decided in his infinite wisdom that he should put Doctor Who on at the same time as ITV's Coronation Street, and because of this the programme valiantly limped on until it was eventually cancelled in late 1989, with the final episode of the final serial Survival airing on December 6th, 1989. Like his predecessor, Sylvester McCoy was unfairly cut down in his prime, just as his Doctor was hitting his stride. All was not lost, however, as the wonderful fans refused to let their beloved Doctor Who simply die, and thanks to the efforts of a plucky new TV producer, Doctor Who was about to be rebooted into an exciting, big-budget co-produced American and British science fiction extravaganza. Although it took many years to materialise, in 1996, fans finally at long last were given some brand new Doctor Who. Join me in next week's video where we'll be discussing the reign of the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann. Now before we go, I have some exciting news. I know we've only been seeing each other for a few weeks, but I've grown to really love you and sort of really like you, and for that reason, I have set up a Patreon for the Whovian Jones YouTube channel. I know it's only the early days and I've only put a few videos out so far, but I've got documents with so many ideas, so many different things to explore about the history of Doctor Who, the history of the writers, the actors, all these sort of political questions about the show and its political leanings, what's in store for Doctor Who's future, looking at Doctor Who in the context of other TV programmes, so many ideas, and I would absolutely love it if you are able, and if you have the cash to spare, if you were able to support the channel on Patreon. And now I know it's not an option for everybody and it's a big ask, but if you really love these videos, there is a link in the description to the Patreon page, and what you will get on Patreon is you will get your name in the credits for every single future Whovian Jones video, you'll get to vote on topics for upcoming videos, you'll get to see behind the scenes content, and eventually you will get to see some Patreon exclusive videos further down the line. So if this sounds like something that interests you and you want to support an independent queer Doctor Who creator, head down into the description, click on the link to the Whovian Jones Patreon, where you will be supporting the channel and helping me create wonderful weekly Doctor Who videos for all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Whovian Jones YouTube channel.